Welcome everyone to the second T20I preview show on the Outside View Live. We just got the news that Australia has won the toss and they've opted to bowl first again. The first big question, is India going to win a toss? Ananya, over to you.
Oh, I guess you'd hope that they would in the last game. It's strange that Harman hasn't won a toss. I thought, we know Mithali Raj doesn't have the best records in tosses, whether it's international or domestic cricket. But I thought come the T20I series, maybe India would win a toss. But I think they should probably send out a toss mascot like Lanning did with Healy. Maybe Mandana needs to come out and maybe spin the coin in the last game.
So Australia also do not have any change. We always thought that, there could be a rotation policy for the bowlers. Taylor Williams still plays this game. Hannah Darlington does. No Darcy Brown, no Stella Campbell. Still, Umesh, surprised with that decision from Australia?
Not really, because I expected one of the paces to be rotated, but given the fact that only Tyler bowled the full quota of 4 overs, it's not really surprising that they have gone with the same 11. And I don't think India losing the toss today is that big a disadvantage, because once again Australia have opted to bowl. Because I still feel in T20I is the best sense of India beating Australia as well, batting first. So I think as far as India is getting to bat first, I don't mind who wins the toss.
So, but in the last game, Ananya took this point that it makes slightly difficult because the spinners will be taken out of the dew factor will come into the place and everything. So, Ananya, do you feel India losing the toss? Gomesh is of the fact that T20s doesn't really matter, but a night game which women play rarely. Does it matter or it doesn't?
Look, the thing is, both teams are going to bat under lights. Both teams are going to bowl under lights. I think the only thing is that the evening or the second innings is when dew is it's probably going to be a little heavier, so the ball is going to get a little more wet. But again, India going into this game with two finger spinners, so I don't think either of them have been turning the ball that much in recent times. So we did see them bowl a few seam-up deliveries as well. So it may take them, when I say take them out of the equation, I mean that, the pitch probably won't help them. The ball may skid on nicely onto the bat. But I think both teams will be bowling in very similar conditions. So it shouldn't be that much of an issue.
The same goes with India. There are no changes in that India side. As we discussed the last game, the batters did well, bowlers never got a chance. So how do you rotate, or how do you even think about dropping someone? So Renika Thakur gets her second game on the tour. Yastika Bhatia continues, not such a great performance as was in the ODIs in the first game, but she came in at a different point. What's your think? Should Yastika bat a bit above, or that number 5 position suits her?
I think she came in at 5 yesterday at the first match, but given the fact that it's only a first debut match and the kind of position the team was in that particular point, that was a really good partnership that she built with Jamie Ma, scoring around 50 runs from 37 balls together. She scored a runner ball, but she might have accelerated, but got out right just before that. I don't think she did anything much of a wrong to be dropped. Ideally, as we spoke, India should be finding a place for Sneha Rana in the T20I, but nobody has done any wrong to be dropped, and the bowling attack didn't get a chance to prove themselves. So it's only fair that they get another chance to go out and do what they wanted to do.
So what's going to be that India's batting approach? We saw a great batting approach as we discussed in the last game also. Do you feel there should be some changes in that batting approach, or do you feel the opener should go berserk and then Jemima Rodriguez should continue playing that anchor role? Ananya.
Look, I think India will continue to play the same way. It is aggressive cricket that will put Australia under pressure. I think if you look at the dismissals of or just the way Smriti Mandana and Shefali Verma played. I think Shefali for me was as fun as it was to watch, as entertaining as it was to watch. I think it was a bit reckless on her behalf. I think I don't think it was the smartest shot selection generally through her innings. But I think India will come out with the same approach and look to take on the Australians, because as we've discussed through this tour, this isn't their strongest bowling attack. And the best way to beat this Australian team is to put that attack under pressure. And every time I think Australia's bowlers get hit around, you can see Meg Lanning, especially without Rachel Haynes, you can see a bit of confusion seep into that attack. She seems to throw the ball around a lot more than you would normally expect from Australia. So I think India will continue to play the way they have. And like Jemima Rodriguez said in the post-match press conference, that her role has been very well defined, that she is that anchor, the one who's going to hold that Indian innings together. So you'd expect people around her to go berserk. Yastika Bhatia, again, is not someone who's going to go berserk. She's probably going to play in a very similar way, but you do have the power of Vastrakar, Pandey, lower down, who can find the boundary. So I think India should continue to play this way, especially when we saw the batting conditions look beautiful. It looks like a track where you should get at least 170 to challenge the chasing side.
So last time you were speaking 157, you've already gone to 170. I'm going to come back to the prediction. I'm sure the number is going to increase. Gomesh, to you, last time we saw 15 overs were bowled. All 8 bowlers were used by Lanning. Not great. You have your best bowler, say Ellis Perry, is bowling you a great over at number 7. She doesn't find another over in place. You continuously roll your bowlers. I know you have the problem of plenty. But what do you think is going to be Australia's bowling approach, seeing what India did in the batting department last time around?
I think a lot of the not continuing with Perry went with who will bowl in the 10th, especially with Hannah Darlington just making her debut. She's been really good in the death overs. We have seen her in the WBBL, but it's still a first match and she's a bit inexperienced. So maybe she wanted to save Perry for the last few overs. Obviously, Perry did not have a great outing in the ODIs, but we saw what she did in the pink ball test match. She's always going to be a quality bowler. Maybe I think one end of pace, one end of spin will be the way to go forward for Lanning throughout the power play. We saw the kind of impact both Sophie Molyneux and Ash Gardner had before Jemima kind of took them out of the equation. So I think I wouldn't be really surprised if Tyler and Gardner started from either end.
So coming to Gardner, that Gardner versus Smriti Mandana, it's kind of funny. 8 times Gardner has taken Smriti's wicket. Do you feel, Ananya, it's going to be that 9th time around today, or Smriti Mandana is going to come up? Okay, I'm not going to give my wicket to you. It's going to be someone else.
Look, I mean, you'd hope that she comes out with that, but it seems a little strange, especially for me, the way Smriti played the Sophie Molyneux over in the first game. I thought she attacked her beautifully and played the field really well. But as soon as Ashley Gardner came on, it was almost as if she was like, I'm going to hit you out of the attack and charged her like a raging bull. It was slightly ill-advised at that point. So it seems like something, well, Ashley Gardner seems to take her game up a notch when she sees Mandana. Mandana seems to lose it a little when she sees Gardner. So I'm hoping that she plays her out a lot better. She did, I think she was very watchful against her in that test match. So, I don't think she needs to be watchful in a T20. She's a quality player, but sometimes she just makes some slightly iffy choices, I suppose, trying to loft her very, very early in the innings, especially when she doesn't reach the pitch of the ball. I think Smriti just tends to just go through with the shot. She doesn't quite have the power of Shefali to be able to clear the field. So it's going to be an interesting battle, as it has through the tour, as it will continue to be through their careers, I'm sure. But I'm hoping that Smriti, as an Indian fan, I'd say you'd hope that Smriti doesn't get out to Gardner, but just as a cricket viewer and someone who likes her numbers and is in support of the bowlers, I'd say Ashley Gardner wins today as well.
Wow. So Ananya is predicting Ashley Gardner is going to take Smriti Mandana's wicket again today. Coming
just
from
just adding to that, I think one of the things that we really noticed with respect to Jemima's innings was whenever she couldn't get that odd boundary in, she was more than happy to rotate the strike and go to the other end. Uh, we also after the match, Tyler really spoke about how they wanted to counter Shefali, where they have seen all the footage of the contest between Brunt and Shefali through the English summer. So obviously they'll be coming prepared, and uh, I know Smriti said after the test match that she going on the attack and Shafali being defensive is not something nobody is thinking about. But still, it wouldn't hurt a lot to counter the balance and give the strike to Shafali to counter Gardner and just take on the paces from the other end.
that completely sounds fine, but Ananya still predicts it's going to be Ashley Gardner again today against Smriti Mandhana, 9th wicket. Let's see if that happens. But there is another superstar, probably the biggest one, Ellis Perry, who's playing her 252nd game for Australia. She's today making her mark as the person with the most number of caps for Australia. Let's talk about that legend. Started off as Ellis Perry, and as Ananya tweeted, is now the Ellis Perry. What do you make of this legend? Not so great time in her career this last 1.5 year, but if we take those 12 years, 13 years into consideration, she's been that legend for Australia.
She definitely has, and I think one of the things is when you track her career, and well, when you look back on her career, I think she only became or started to become the Elise Perry around that 2013, 2014 period. And I think one of the remarkable things that we don't quite understand, especially as Indians, when we are constantly looking for the next big thing and seeing who can replace Jhulan Goswami, who can be the next Mithali Raj, we don't realize that Elise Perry took a good 7-8 years to become the player that she did become. Australia allowed her that space to just develop into this high quality all-rounder that she now is. And I think just that transformation is amazing. She started off as somewhat of a tearaway quick who batted quite low down the order, 9, 10, sometimes even 11. And it's great to see the transformation. And I think what is so wonderful, and Kalyani mentioned this in the previous show as well, is that she's kind of for that bowling attack. I know Megan Schutt has become their premier pacer, but she's kind of been that anchor around whom the others have been introduced. You think of someone like Holly Furling. When Megan Schutt came in, Perry had played a few years of cricket as well. Now Brown, Polemic, and all these people. She's kind of been that anchor around whom the bowling attack has revolved. And even with the bat as well, she's become, I suppose, one of, after Lanning, everyone talks about Perry and Healy. So it's been great to see. She hasn't quite cracked it against India, so it'll be interesting to see whether she comes out and has a good day with the bat. I think she's starting to find her mojo with the ball. She looked again good in the test match. So T20 is not quite her thing, but hey, let's see how she goes today.
Okay, so it's already raining here in Pune. We hope it's not the case in Brisbane, or it's not the case in Queensland where the game is happening. Taking from that Ellis Perry's point, so that Umesh, do you want to add something?
I mean, just the fact that after all these years, after all that she has done, she's still 30. Obviously, her body may not be the 30, but still, she's still 30, and there's still a long way to go. I really, really hope she plays at least 5 to 6 years from here on. She'll probably end up where Mithali is for Indian cricket by the time she calls it a day.
So Gomesh wants to compare Elise Perry to Mithali Raj. Maybe she does both with the bat and with the ball. That is Elise Perry. She's today becoming. So she is becoming that. She's playing a 252nd game, becoming the most capped player for an Australian, beating Alex Blackwell, who sits at 251. Coming back to the person who's just returned in the first T20I, she was there with the team in the ODIs. The test match didn't play. We all wanted her to play that test match. Stella will make. How impactful is she going to be? Team pacer Ananya.
Look, I think she showed it in that first game. It was just so much fun to watch her come out and let it rip. Um, at the start of her career, you weren't sure where she would spray the ball, but I think like Darcy Brown has developed, or sorry, like Stella Campbell has developed a fair bit of control. I love the fact that she was able to get the ball to shape away. And more than her pace, that was something that really excited me. It was the fact that she was getting the ball to move around. And everyone knows that she's going to come and probably target your helmet or your throat. And she didn't do it as much against Shefali as we thought we would, but that's also because that Shefali was moving around a lot. But it was just so great to see her come out and bowl as fast as she possibly could. It was wonderful to see her come out and smile and just be happy to be on the field. You want to see a young fast bowler just being allowed to do what she can do. I was very impressed with the way she bowled. I think she deserved a couple of wickets, but maybe that'll come today.
And that fight with Shefali Verma, the first ball 6, then she troubled her a lot. Is this going to be the battle like we say, Gardner versus Smriti, Welbeck versus Verma? Is this going to be the battle that we're going to see for years?
Well, maybe we were talking about Verma versus Brown in the ODI series, so maybe it's just going to be Verma versus these the likes of Brown, Campbell, and Willemich. It is definitely through their careers going to be something that's interesting to watch. But I think just the pace of Taylor Willemich and the timing of Shefali Verma, if I think that's definitely going to be something that's very, very exciting to watch. I think if Verma today stands her ground and just trusts her instincts, it'll be much more fun to watch than it was the other day.
Let's come down to the Indian side. The Indian team, the anchor role, Jemimah Rodrigues has returned at number 3, played an excellent innings of 49 not out in the first innings, was not able to reach her 50 because of rains. Kumesh, you wrote a beautiful piece on her innings. What do you think is she going to do next today?
I think let's just say it. I mean, it was only a matter of time before a quality player like Jemimah Rodrigues is going to come back and score the kind of runs that she did, and especially after the way she played in the 100, we all expected to. I mean, Test match at least it was very much understandable given the fact that she was more in contention for the number 3 spot, and maybe they wanted to balance out the left and right and stuff that's going around. But I think in T20Is, what she is doing at the moment is just trusting her shots and picking the bowlers, especially picking her battles. We saw how she was happy to just rotate the striker in Tyla and give it to Harman, who took on her and hit a couple of boundaries. But when the spinners came on, she was more than happy to pierce the field, love them over covers. It was just a batting masterclass, and I think she's in a really good frame of mind and kind of in a zone where she could do no wrong. And I really hope that it continues for the next few months leading into the World Cup, which will be really great for India. And one of the things that she really said, which there was no space to include in the piece that I wrote, was batting in the 100 was if not for the 100, she would not have gotten the chance in the Indian team, which really strikes you because playing in. She also said that playing in such leagues really help us improve, and what we learn from there and what we can come and show in the international cricket. And she'll also be playing in the WBBL for the Renegades. Georgia Wareham was saying that I can't really comment because I'm in Australia colours, but it was really thrilling to watch her bat. So hopefully she'll get a lot more matches to play, and the more these players play, the better they are going to come, and the greater it is going to be for the Indian team.
That's what Jemimah Rodrigues is. She's returned back to form. Very high words for her coming around from everywhere. Time to go into the match. And first start with Ananya and just ask you one thing. I'm not asking you the prediction for the score. I'm first asking you, are India going to make it 7-7? And is that final T20I going to be the decider?
I'm not going to make a prediction. I'm refraining from answering this question. I'll pass it on to Gomesh.
Okay, Gomesh. I will take, because I'm not. I'm okay with Ananya's decision. I want to ask you: is India going to make it 7-7 and make that final T20I the deciding factor?
If they bat the way they did in the first T20I, I think they're really going to take it to the final match. Oh, and hopefully rain will stay away. If rain stays away and India bats the way they did, get to 170 odd, I'm pretty sure the series is going to into that final frontier.
Okay, now coming down, what's going to be the score predictions for you for India? Umesh, you start. What's going to be the
Yeah.
score?
Yeah. Okay. I'll still go and 165 to 175, 10 runs here and there maybe. Uh, yeah.
165 to 175. Okay, Ananya, what's your prediction? It's going to be 200. Is
Uh,
200 on the cards?
no, I think 200 may be a bit of a bridge too far, unless again Shafali or Smriti Mandana goes berserk. I think, like I said last time, a lot will depend on the kind of start they give India. If it's very similar to what happened last time, then I think the middle order can run with that momentum. But if not, then it may be difficult. So I'm gonna maybe up my prediction from last time, but maybe a little less than Gomesh and say 163.
163. He says Ananya. Gomesh has taken 165 to 175. We all would want India to go berserk and just maybe mark that 200 mark. That's it from the pre-show of the Outside View Live. We will catch you in the mid-show discussing what happened in the India innings. Were Australia's bowlers any better? And will India be able to make a mark?